to the cloud. There we go. And I'm going to share an agenda of what we're going to talk about here. Okay. All right. So this is the AUW California Branch Development Peer Group meeting. Notice our little logo ladies down in the corner. And our main event tonight is succession, but with an emphasis on success for your branch. We're going to hear from Patricia Souza about the Branch Activity of the Year Award. And I want to emphasize that we would like all branches to submit one or more of their best activities. Then we'll get an update from Susan Bongasser about Nick Whistle. And then we have a special guest from the Redlands branch, Catherine Brown, who's going to talk about an award that they've been nominated for, but more importantly, what led to that and what kind of success in their branch put them in the spotlight for this award in Redlands. And then after that, we're going to talk about branch tools for leadership and membership and discussion. And then we're going to talk a little later about the new toolkit and new president's handbook that we're developing. So I'm going to turn this over to Patricia and stop sharing here. And Patricia, if you would share your screen.
Doke. Well, I'm having. Okay.
Logical lie. He would have told that lie at his sharpest. That particular lie is not.
Somebody needs to mute their speaker in their home. We're getting feedback, please.
Any Donald Trump drone through a lifeless teleprompter reading of a speech that appeared to be the script reading of the words.
Okay, I'm going to have to mute you all. And then, Patricia, you're going to have to unmute yourself.
Oh.
Okay, unmute yourself. There we go.
Okay.
There we are.
I'm Patricia Souza, and I'm the chair of the Branch Activity of the Year awards. And I think we've talked about this a little bit. The program provides branches an opportunity to showcase and be recognized for your finest activity. The activity can be a one-off program or a sustained concurring project. It can be joint with other branches, and the deadline's March 15th. And I encourage you to look at the branch tools across the top, and then you scroll down to Branch Activity of the Year, and it should say 2026. You can see the winners from last year, and you can watch a video made by the winners, which will give you a good idea of what a high quality program that wins awards. And if you win, you're going to make a video, but I don't want that to worry anyone, because we have support for you and assistance, and we'll work with you to make those videos. But do save your flyers and photos and all the materials from your event, and we will support you. And I'm really encouraging everyone to submit your very finest program from the past year. And also, just quickly, we're recruiting judges for this award. So if your branch does not plan to submit an applications, it's really fun to be a volunteer. And you can just contact me, and you can find my information under branch tools, under Bay. Please do be thinking about applying. You'll find the application right online. It's easy to fill out, and it'll just guide you through. And also, my name and tech email is there. You can always contact me and ask me questions or find out more information. I really encourage you. Last year we had about 23 applications, I think, and it is really amazing to see the things that our branches do. And so when you're looking at the winners from last year, you'll get really good ideas about, oh, what your branch has been working on that is equally, fabulous and that you want to apply. So thanks, Sigrid, for allowing me to just say this one more time. I think we'll often have information in the communications that the branches get to keep encouraging you to apply for the Bay Award.
Great. Thank you, Patricia. And I encourage everybody to submit your application, and you can submit more than one if you like. So you need to stop sharing, Patricia, so
Oh,
we don't see your screen anymore.
oh, sorry.
There we go. Okay. All right. Susan, where are you? Can you unmute yourself, please?
There we go. Hello, everybody. I'm Susan Bangasser, and I'm the chair of the College University Partnership Program. I wanted to let everyone know that Nick Whistle is scheduled for May 27th through 30th this coming spring, and at the University of Maryland, its typical location. It's being organized by NASPA, N-A-S-P-A. I'm going to put in the chat the link to NASPA and their events, and you could read more about it. We did post an update a while back. The event is a day longer than the past couple of years, and it's the same price. So that is good news. Next month, our peer-to-peer meeting will be on the College University Partnership Programs. And a lady from NASPA named Asha Jones, or Dr. Asha Jones, will come to our meeting, and we can ask questions about Nick Whistle, and she could tell us more about it. But we can also talk about other topics. So if you're interested in College University Partnership Programs or have somebody in your branch who's interested, I would like to have you send me questions or topics that you'd like to see discussed. So also in the chat, I'll put my contact information. And also, if you have any questions later, send me an email and I'll try and address them. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. It's always a great program, and it's been popular in the past years. I know there's been some talk about the West Coast having possibly alternating Nick Whistles or a duplicate. That's not off the table, but it's not going to happen in 26. Ginny, you have your hand up. We can't see you and you're muted.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm working on a new computer and I can't figure out how to get my camera on. So
Uh-oh.
just see a blank me today. Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment. Our branch has usually supported Nick Whistle as one of the things, and we work with Cal State University Northridge. And I was very frustrated last year. I followed the directions, what came out from National and the organization that's now handling it. And I got nowhere. I mean, I had some questions. I tried contacting them. I emailed, I phoned. I never got a response back. And when you went through their website, it was almost impossible to even find stuff to who you should be contacting or how you should be doing it. So obviously we didn't participate. I mean, the deadline came and left. So I hope this year it's easier because it is something that we like to participate in.
Well, we could ask Asha next month to run us through it. I know you have to sign up each student to be a NASPA member, but there's no dues or anything like that, but they have to be in their system, and then you register them. So it could be you had issues there. And since they took it over last year, it's such a late start and had to run with it. I don't think they were as organized as they are this year.
Yeah,
right.
If you do have questions like that, though, feel free to call me or email me, and I'll see if I know the answer, I can find the answer to your question. But I do hope you send students this year. I think.
And the deadlines, do you have a deadline?
Yeah, their deadline is basically something like May 18th if they're staying staying in the dorms, and then if they're just driving up and attending that way, they can sign up the day before. So their deadline is really late. I have to look up if the price goes up after a certain deadline. That's the deadline you probably want to know. I'll have to look that up for you.
Yeah.
But it's on that NASPA site that I'll put in the chat.
So something will be coming out from state then pretty soon as to
Yeah,
Nichols?
we'll send a newsletter before
Yes.
the
Okay.
February meeting.
Right. And just, I'm really going to say this next month, but I'm saying it this month too, just in case. My dream is that I have the names and email addresses of all the students we send, so we can have a Zoom session in April for students to talk about travel, how to get there, how to work the program to get the most out of it.
Thanks.
Now, Nick Whistle is a national program, but we felt that we needed to have a person on our state board who was the intermediary because of just what you're saying, Ginny. The communications was pretty low, and the satisfaction level was pretty high. So that's why Susan was put in place to help everybody. So if you find you're not getting the answers you need from NASPA or national, go directly to Susan or start with Susan.
Yeah.
Jane, you have your hand up.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, I'm very interested as I have been on the faculty in the political science department and in the public administration program for over 10 years now. But I'm just kind of a new president, although I've been a member of AAUW Long Beach for a few years now, and I haven't heard too much about this program. And is NASPA always the sponsor, or is that a new thing?
Our national Nick Whistle was always a sponsor until last year. So last year,
AAUW owned it,
yes,
and NASPA was a contributor.
I
And
see.
now we've flipped that so that NASPA runs it and AAUW is a contributor.
Oh, okay. Okay. And if you can just tell me briefly, like, what's the selection criteria for sending the students?
that each branch has their own selection criteria. And so our branch really works with our campus representatives to get the word out and ask them, what does leadership mean to them? And we look at their GPA and what they say in their essay, and then make a selection with some team members from our AAUW branch and our representatives at the college campuses.
Okay.
And each branch raises the money to send the girls to Nick Whistle.
And
there are some scholarships, but there are not too many of them. And I think Susan's scholarship is just for the conference fee,
right,
not for anything else.
For national AAUW. I don't know how many they give out, but it was a first come, first serve, which I thought was kind of odd, but if that's how they do it, it makes it easy. And it just covers the conference, not the transportation.
Mhm.
Right.
And in
so
your
it's-
meeting Susan, in your meeting next month, are you going to be talking more about what Nick Whistle will be in terms of their agenda and what's going to happen during this event?
I hope so. I mean, as much as
Okay. Thank you.
Last year they were asking for speakers very late into the spring, but I'm hoping that this year they have a better handle on it. Yes.
So it's always kind of a leadership focus, would you say, for the students?
Oh, yes. As college women and as future leaders, we're trying to encourage leadership. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Chrissy, you have your hand up and you're muted.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, thanks, Sigrid. I was just wondering, Susan, what's your last name?
Bangasser, it's in my picture too, Bangasser.
I don't see it on your picture.
You don't?
Yeah.
Oh.
You just move your mouse. Just move your mouse a little bit and it'll pop up.
Yeah.
So anyways, B as in boy, Angasser.
Chrissy, if you
Okay, thank you.
click on the three dots after bang.
Yeah,
It gives her
yeah.
whole spelling.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, great. Any more questions for Susan on Nick Whistle?
Susan, didn't they also arrange for some hotels for girls that were under 21?
Well, in the NASPA website, they have good information. They have the hotel information. So we usually send students the day before, but once again, I don't know when it's going to start. Is it starting at 9 a.m. or 5 p.m. or, but typically we have to send them the day before, and they work with the hotel so that students who are under age 21 can check in themselves without having someone over 21 check them in.
Also, the conference fee only covers the 2 nights, Susan, is that right?
Well,
in the hotel?
The 27th, 28th, 29th. It would cover 3 nights in the dorm, but
Okay,
then the extra fee your branch would pay if you're sponsoring a student would be the hotel, an extra night
right,
at a hotel
for one night, yeah.
for one night. Yeah.
Because they're going to be moving around, right? They can't stay in the dorm
They
that
can't.
first night.
They can't stay in the dorm, unfortunately. That
Yeah.
would be my dream, is that they could stay in the dorm
Which
and
is-
not have to move. Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunate because so many of these students have never traveled or never traveled alone. And
And that's why I want to have the Zoom session and talk about how do you travel,
yeah,
take
all the different stuff to think about
all
if you've
if you've
yeah.
never done it before. Yes.
right, if your parents always did everything for you, you just went to the airport and
Or,
you don't know what to
or
expect.
I mean, some of the students we work with have never flown before, period.
So it's kind of scary to send
Mhm.
somebody 18, 19 who doesn't
Yes.
have any travel experience across country.
Yes.
And especially since where most of us live, we're going to be dealing with regional airports, which means
Yep.
a plane change someplace.
Line change. Yes.
And we don't want to lose anybody on the way.
Yeah. And check the chat, everybody. I put the my state AAUW email address in there, and then the link to the NASPA site, and then you can find Nick Whistle.
Great. Thank you, Susan.
Mhm.
Okay. Next up, we're going to hear from Catherine Brown. And Catherine, if you want to introduce yourself while I get your slides up, that would be great.
Sure. I'm Catherine Brown. I'm one of the co-presidents of the Redlands branch. Hi, Susan.
Hi,
Susan, a
Catherine.
member of the Redlands branch too. I just saw you last night.
Night. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so this is just a description of what has happened that led Sigrid to ask me to come tonight, because there was a voting period for this award, Nonprofit of the Year, by our Redlands branch of the Chamber of Commerce. And it's been given every year for decades. Now there are 59 nonprofit members of the chamber, and I don't think anybody was going to get nominated who wasn't a member. And the application was written and submitted by one of our communication committee members. We asked them to do it, and she was happy to do it. But the finalists were screened by the leadership of the Chamber of Commerce. So we're one of the 3 finalists for this award. And they do other things like New Restaurant of the Year, Woman of the Year, that sort of stuff. But the winner is decided by popular vote, and everyone has already voted. There were a few days in December when they were allowed to do that. We don't know who the winner is, but we'll find out January 31st. Next slide. So the award is for community engagement. So the first thing I thought I'd do tonight is explain what we were already doing in the community before we joined the Chamber of Commerce, because we've only been members since 2022. So we were already really engaged with the library, in addition to serving as tutors in their adult literacy program. We have a special AAUW only program with the library. It's a partnership called CHAT. Conversation helps adults transition. And the members of this group are highly educated women who have come to Redlands for one reason or another. Either they go to work at a local hospital or come to school to Redlands, who are not, English isn't their first language. And we get together with them at the library and chat and talk. And they have once a month group meetings, and then the members are assigned to a partnership. I was the partner with a woman who was the worked for the Mexican consulate in San Bernardino for a number of years. And she said, everybody speaks Spanish all day. I really like to get together with somebody and chat in English. So that's what we were doing with the library. Next slide. And we were already volunteering. We have a partnership with the YMCA Legal Aid Clinic. The YMCA has a home tour in Redlands every year. They need docents. We sign up to cover one of the homes. In fact, we have so many AAUW volunteers who like to do this. There's 6 or 7 homes on the tour, and it's always fun to be an insider. We sometimes do 2 homes. And then we also have the Redlands Summer Music Festival twice a week from June through August. So they need a lot of volunteers. They call them ushers, but what we do, it's a free music festival. We pass a donation bowl during intermission. Next slide. So, next slide.
Yeah,
It's okay.
there we go.
And then we have the AAUW STEM conference for 8th grade girls, what we've been doing for 32 years. And we do that with the University of Redlands as a partner. Really, they provide the facility. We pay them a reduced rate. So the whole community already knew that we were doing that, because we've been doing it for so many years. Now we have the grandchildren of some of the women who were teachers at the time we were doing it. Next slide. So after COVID ended and we started meeting together in January 2022, we had a very inspirational speaker, Twyla Evans Carthon. And she's the director of, or was at that time, she's retired now, director of ombuds at Cal State University, San Bernardino. And she told us, look, it's very nice that you have these meetings and you invite everybody to them to come to the meeting and listen to you, etc. But she encouraged us to get out there. She said, you should really go out and meet people where they are. If you want the community to come and be involved with you, you've got to be involved with them. So, next slide. So, enter the Chamber of Commerce. So 2 of our members, that's Ellen Timothy and Kay Dobberton, you may know her from some of you from other events, went to the Chamber of Commerce mixer that fall. And when they came back and talked to us at a board meeting, they said, my goodness, there are so many different people there from so many different organizations. And we had no idea that they had such a large nonprofit sector in addition to the businesses. Next slide. So one of the first things that we decided to repeat that was a community engagement that was very popular was we called on our friends at the University of Redlands and did a candidate forum. This is the city council. People were running for the city council in Redlands that year. We've done we did a primary, I believe we did a primary election forum that same night. So that attracted a lot of people in the community, and we were the only community group to do it. And I think caught the attention of our chamber members. The one you just had was the next slide. It shows go forward, please.
There.
So that's the community forum, the candidate forum. Next slide. Okay. And then, you know, we realized that we get these invitations to table at events, or we would see in our local newsletters, newspapers, different organizations that people were having events. So we made a real effort to get out and go to them. On the upper left-hand side, we have the Contemporary Club, which frankly is a pretty conservative organization of Redlands women. It's been around for over 100 years. They're very interested in the heritage of Redlands and keeping Redlands beautiful, totally non-political. But we went to help them to celebrate their anniversary and got to know them. With Susan is shown in this picture, we were already doing the partnership with the universities, but we didn't have a partnership with Cal State University San Bernardino at that time. So we went there and did a table for their internship fair. Now we have two interns from that university. Crafton College is on the lower left. And on the right, we have a conference at the University of Redlands that we weren't invited to. We found out they were having it and we contacted them and asked us, you know, would you like us to come? And they said, sure. Next slide. We went to the League of Women Voters, which is down on the lower left. They ended up giving us an award the next year for our community engagement. We partnered, we heard from the theater department at the U of R trying to sell some tickets. So we partnered with them to have a special AAUW night. The upper right, we always go to Planned Parenthood. We show up there. Community Day of Service, Juneteenth on the lower right, and a Fair for a Change. Those are our city-sponsored events that the city of Redlands does, and we said yes. Next slide. So not everything worked all that well. So one of the things we thought was, well, we had these younger members and they couldn't make it always to the meeting times. So we thought, hey, we'll just have a meetup at the new boba shop in Redlands. And we got the owner, who was a member of the Chamber of Commerce, a young woman, late 20s, to open up early for us. And we had a couple of meetups, but you know, they kind of petered out. Everybody got busy, and it turned out the same people were showing up at the meetups as were showing up at the branch meetings. So we don't know if we'll start those again. And then we also, when we were looking for sponsors for our film fest, went to this new trendy boutique in town to ask them to sponsor. And she said, well, I won't do that, but I will have a night when everybody who buys something, you'll get 15% for your organization. It turned out not too many people were interested in shopping that night, and so that didn't go anywhere. But the owners of those businesses are big supporters. Next slide. Then the Chamber of Commerce has a really good program called Leadership Redlands. And what it does is it interviews and selects about 15 citizens from all walks of life to participate in a year-long program to take one day out of the month to learn more about the police department, city government, everything going on in Redlands. And it costs $1,000. So we did a big campaign to get some of our members to apply and told them that if they were accepted, we would give them, up to two of them, we would give them $500 of the $1,000 scholarship. Two were accepted, and they're still our members, and we've met a lot of younger people and a lot of business people who have come into the branch as their guests. So that's been another reasons I think the Chamber of Commerce likes us. Next slide. So this is our big fundraiser that we've been doing now. This will be the third year. We'll have it again in April. When LunaFest canceled, which I think some of you are familiar with what LunaFest was, we took the job on ourselves and put on our own film festival. And when I asked the chamber CEO who's a young guy named Evan Hansen. What was one of the reasons we were finalists? He said, everybody loves the film fest. The merchants love it. We get sponsorship from the merchants. We get out in the community. We ask if they won't donate something for a sponsorship like money. We ask them for gift basket things so people can advertise. And that's been very popular. And finally, our next slide is our next community engagement, which is in March, which is this film, Breakaway Femmes, which is an Australian-made film, but it features the first the women's team from USA, along with other international women's teams that actually rode for the first time in the Tour de France in 1984. One of the members of the team is a resident of Redlands, Patty Peoples. She was also went on to be on the first Olympic cycling team. So we're partnering with Cyclery USA and the Redlands Bicycle Classic to show this film. And we don't expect to really make any money on it. We'll probably break even, but it's a good opportunity to highlight Title IX, women in sports. Redlands is a purple community, so things like girls' sports are very popular with the community, and that we're supporting that is a big plus. Okay, that's it. I'm done. If you have questions.
Catherine, how many members do you have in your branch?
We now have, I'm going to turn up the volume because we now have a little over 250, but I will tell you that that COVID took a big toll for us too, proportionately. And when we joined the chamber, we only had about 150.
Thank you.
Anyone else have questions for Catherine about their programs and how that impacted their membership drive or participation by existing members? Becky, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just curious, do you feel that joining the chamber increased your membership? Do you feel like the fee that you pay, or did you get a nonprofit rate from the chamber? And do you think that helped with your membership?
Okay, so we were charged $195 a year. I don't know how much regular members pay. That's not my department, but we felt it was worth it. And I would have to say we do get members, but also importantly, we get sponsors for our events and people who come to our events who are members of the Commerce. Because we do our STEM conference, we get a lot of speakers. We go out to business women who have college degrees to come and speak at our STEM conference, and we'll take a bank president. Is that a STEM career? Everything is a STEM career now. If you don't know math, which is the language of STEM, then you're going to have a hard time in any career. We still focus on engineering and the other careers too, but we broadened the base of our STEM conference.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Zena.
Yeah, hi. I'm co-president at Carlsbad Oceanside Vista for 7-8 years now, and I'm leaving the presidency. And as a result, we're facing a real crisis. A lot of my other board members are in their positions or other positions within the board, and they want to leave. Okay, so my question is, I mean, your numbers are fantastic, but we did get hit hard with COVID, as you had mentioned, and my concern is we need younger members, and all of your programs that you're involved with, has any been successful in getting younger members involved, women who work but can be part of our organization, or just retired people, because it's been a real difficulty, and we're not quite sure what we're going to do. We're kind of at a loss right now.
Well, the Leadership Redlands program, both of the women who are in that I think I'm not sure. I've never asked them, late 20s or early 30s.
Wow.
One of them just
Really?
had a baby. Yeah, and
Whoa.
she is an accountant. She works for an accounting firm. She's one of the principals, and she's one of the new members that came through us that way. Our film fest attracts a lot of people, many younger members who don't necessarily come to meetings, but sometimes they can take some time to meet on Zoom, which has really helped
Okay.
to help us, like on our fundraising committee or on some of the other committees. They can take an hour out of their day and join a meeting. So I think having Zoom and using, well, we use Teams actually, but it's a similar program, has really helped us with our younger members to fit us into their day.
Okay, because we do Zoom our board meetings, obviously. And our regular branch meetings are always on a Saturday, which works for some, but not for others. I understand that. But we were up to 110, 120. Now we're at 67. And that drop is, yes, this is Carlsbad, Oceanside, Vista, which are growing areas. Okay, nobody's leaving those areas. And they have, and it has moved into a more progressive way of thinking. So there are a lot of ladies that are, I know it used to be very conservative, and that was sometimes difficult, but not so anymore. And but part of it is now is that I'm going out phoning and finding if people will be willing to be on the board. The suggestion was having committees, and I think you mentioned that, spread it out, not just have two co-chairs, but a committee maybe. But I'm getting not a good response. So
I'm sorry. I don't have a magic pill.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Don't we all wish we had the magic bullet?
I wish we had a magic pill. Yeah. But thank you for that input, that the film festival and yes, Zoom. And we're also thinking of we meet every month. So maybe we need to reduce that and make it more workable for people. I don't, we also have a newsletter that goes out every month. That's pages and pages of stuff. And I don't think our person that's been doing that for years is not going to be doing that. So there's a lot of things kind of facing us. Yeah. And by the way, I am up for election. Can I mention that to the group?
Dana is running for director.
Right.
I had another thought, and it occurred to me the way that we met our speaker, who was inspirational, was when we tabled at Juneteenth. We met a Black sorority had a table right next to ours. And we got some members, some interested, and some of them are older, but it's fine. They're in their 50s and 60s. And that was the League of Women Voters. Those women, that's a big deal in San Bernardino County, and those women are very like-minded, and sometimes you need to add more meetings to go to than just AAUW, and I know you're doing that. It's just occurred to me that also we think has increased our membership.
We've done things working with the League of Women Voters. We are also seeking out other groups, especially in the area of education. Obviously, I'm on the subcommittee for the school board project. And so there's a lot of interplay with that also. And I think part of it is to get our people more involved in things like that, so they feel that they are doing more than
being visible in the community is really important.
Yeah. Thank you for that information.
Peggy, you have your hand up and you're muted.
Yes, Catherine, I want to commend you for a fantastic effort of reaching out. I think we've talked about volunteers first. I don't know if you've seen the program or not, but it is exactly the principles that we apply to the branch, and we encourage you to apply those principles outside of the branch. So you've done a magnificent job with that. I think the results of increased membership show that this is working. And it does look like, I know we find in the Salem branch, the more activities you have, the more opportunities you have, or the higher the chance you have of people participating. I wanted to ask you, how do you go about, it does seem like with all of the programs you've got, there has to be leaders for each one of these activities that you have. How are you going about getting people to lead these activities?
We're trying to have committees with many people and learning to delegate and I'm thinking mostly of the STEM conference. For 5 years before I became co-president, I was the chair or co-chair of the Redlands STEM Conference, which is our biggest activity. And that takes about 100 volunteers, and it takes a core committee of about 20. And I have to tell you, it was very hard to find, after I did it a couple of years, it's like, she does such a good job, why, so we started delegating and dividing tasks into smaller pieces so that nothing was so big. And, but it's not easy. And also, we had some rough things happen. Last year, our Tech Trek coordinator died suddenly.
Oh, God.
Oh my God.
And there was a person who stepped up, but it was a hard way to learn. You better have somebody there.
Right.
And
A backup.
she was a very vital person. So it's a hard lesson to learn, but that's the way we have been trying. Like our communications used to be the communications VP and maybe one other person. We also have gotten some student interns. Because a lot of these community colleges in particular, although Cal State San Bernardino does it too, they give credits for internships with nonprofits.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, just pick the films for our film fest here. She was very happy to sit there and watch short films hours on end and get some credit for it. So that's been a really good thing. Susan's been very helpful through our CU partnership, helping us get interns.
Yeah, I had wondered about interns to help
Yeah.
with some branch projects. Another question is, how did you select which activities to participate in?
I'm not sure which ones you mean.
Well, there's a lot going on, and the chamber has a lot going on. And
we went to everything we could. There was stuff I didn't include. We went to the dog jog.
oh, that was just the focus then, is that you said, this is going to be our,
You
we're going to try to be
show
involved with
up.
everybody.
We're going to say yes. I mean, I did not read the book because I was already married, but I know there's a book that tells people if you want to get a husband, start saying yes to all these dates, even if you don't think you're going to like them. And it was like with the Contemporary Club. They have a reputation for being very conservative. But hey, we had some stuff to talk about. We all care about the girls in the community, and it's been a good thing.
Yeah, the belonging to the chamber has always had I've always had mixed feelings about that
Yes.
personally. However, I can see that you took a second look, which maybe is well needed, to say, well, maybe the chamber has got more diverse people in it now, and maybe we could just test this out and see how it works. Yeah, I think it's a great out of the box thinking, and I love it. I think it's fantastic.
Thanks, Peggy. Jane, you have your hand up, and you're muted.
Let me
Muted.
let me unmute myself. Thanks. No, Peggy actually kind of asked the question already, because I'm sort of a structure person. I'm co-president with the Long Beach branch, and we have a deep history in our branch, and we've been pretty steady as she goes at about 135 members. for quite a while. I mean, we had a heyday. The branch had a heyday, just like everybody's branch had a heyday. I think we were, back in the mid century. That's the last century, not this one. For anybody that was wondering, but
75 short years ago.
seems like yesterday. I think there were probably, I don't know, like 500 members or something, and there was a battle. There were battles, there were campaigns to be president, and suffice it to say, I didn't have to fight anybody to be co-president for the branch, but I'm really enjoying it, and I'm so impressed with your presentation. And I kind of was wondering about, a chair. Is there a chair that breaks ground with all these different community engagement things you've pursued? I mean, it's impressive, and that takes somebody's organizational, contact skills. So how did you kind of parse that out or divide that out? I guess kind of repeating Peggy's question, but I wanted to know a little bit more.
Well, we have the two co-presidents and we have the president-elect, and we ask members to go and coach them a little bit. If you're talking about how we get them to go to all these events, we ask members to go, and they go.
But also to be kind of like, let me say, the point person that helps coordinate to get the bodies there. I mean, just one example alone. I mean, and it's impressive. What you guys have done is impressive. Just like the home tour with
oh yeah, those two
women. Point person.
Yeah, we've been doing that since before I joined the branch back, and so that has a long history.
Oh, okay.
And those two women have been doing it for 14 years, and they love it. And you get to work with the home designer and decorator because, these homes are there, but they get all dressed up. So, and there's a huge payback. I've done that tour where I've been in the home welcoming. People are so happy to meet you, but you've got your AAUW tag on. Also, I have to say it, when we have our film fest, we have a bunch of young women who come who do not have degrees, who are real estate agents, who are all kinds of people. And they say, I'd really like to join. I wish we could get that degree requirement thrown out, because I've had them say to me, I want to give back to the community too.
Yeah, that's a really important point. Becky, you want to address the equivalency thing, because there seems to be a lot of confusion about how this works.
Thanks, Sigrid. There was something in the December newsletter from National that talked about the equivalency. And I know the equivalency has been, there's some people that feel very strongly about it, one way or another. So it is a bit of a challenge, but the appeals, so somebody like a real estate agent or someone else who may have gone to, school for some sort of certificate or something, they don't have a college degree. And so we have been advocating for branches to submit those people and say, this person has, the equivalent of the 60 credits, and they have continuing education. Most of us that have credentials or something like that, we have to go and get our continuing education, whether it be 20 or 30 credits, hours over every 2 years or every 3 years or whatever. We think that that's very valuable. We think that those people are committed to education and they are experts in their field. So we would like to see people, pursue that, and we'd like to see it come back up. And we really want to see, if we're supposed to be an inclusive organization and we promote education, we should be promoting education beyond a associate or bachelor's or some sort of graduate degree. So I feel pretty strongly about it. I was a dean at a community college, and there's certain people that get certificates, but they have as many credits as somebody with an associate degree. So we'd like to see that.
And remember, the form that you fill in for a new member no longer asks for what degree did you have and what school did you go to. That isn't there anymore. There is a little questionnaire about equivalency of, other things, but there's almost no occupation that anybody can do that doesn't get you to the equivalency. And we've just been real, upfront with that with our branch and many other branches that we're just going to do what the right thing is. Because if someone is committed to our mission, they're committed to our branch, and they want to support what we stand for, go for it. Chrissy?
Hi, yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up because actually I have somebody's resume who I want to submit for an equivalency, a member to join. And so I've been kind of acquiring the paperwork, but I'm not sure how to go about doing it. I have those 2 email addresses that were in that article that they said. So do I just send in the form to their?
Becky, can you answer that for her?
I believe, and I don't have it in front of me, so I apologize, but I think to Sigrid's point, you can go on and do it, go on the national site. But yes, I would also contact the people that were in that article and let them, and explain this person has continuing education or has, had the equivalent of X number of hours and go forward from there.
Okay, okay. Yeah, we've kind of put that together. Has anybody here done that? Has anybody gotten an equivalency approval?
Yes, we did that in our branch.
Oh, you did?
More than once.
Cool. Oh, great. Oh, great. So maybe I can email you all.
Don't make it as too hard.
Okay.
Simpler, less.
Okay, keep it simple.
Much less.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, like you're talking to a lawyer.
Yeah, don't answer the questions that they didn't ask.
Yes.
Right. Got it. Got it. Okay, thank you so much.
Ginny?
Yeah, I'm just curious. Has National ever provided any statistics on how many of these equivalencies they've granted, like on a yearly basis or whatever?
I've never seen anything like that. I think they want to keep that pretty quiet.
I don't know of
I've never
anybody
seen
that's been turned down. Let's put it that way.
Sorry?
I'm sorry, I didn't capture the last one.
What'd you say, Sharon?
I don't know of anybody that has been turned down.
No, I've
Yeah.
never heard of.
Yeah, I get kind of that impression too. Over the years, I know we've done a couple. It's been a while, but I didn't, I think it was okay.
Do the right thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Carol.
Yeah, a couple years ago for Chico, I started the process of asking for an equivalency for a potential member. And she had, she did a lot of computers and she really had some pretty good chops and, a lot of job experience, etc. And we sent that off to them and they wanted a whole lot more information. And I thought at the time it was a little
Really?
inappropriate. About that time, she decided she'd rather belong to the Daughters of the American Revolution, so she joined. So I think we
Which
all
is way harder to get into. My
yes, yes. Anyway, we all. I think she probably really wouldn't have been comfortable with us. Anyway, so that was my only experience with that. But they really want this equivalency to work.
Yeah, they do. And we have lost members when we've lost the vote 3 times in a row. People have
Getting
just
closer. Yeah.
quit based on principles of, don't be so hypocritical.
Yeah.
So, but we are getting closer. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We got a couple other things we need. Oh, Marilyn, you have your hand
Got
up.
her hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I don't know if this is what other branches do, but we have a designation called community members, and we have several, and they are not eligible to run for an office, but they can be on a committee and do everything else. So I don't know if that's just our branch. I mean,
I've heard of that from some other branches in the past, but the problem with that is you set up a two-tier set of membership, and that's really not what we want to have here. We need to not use those that, and plus you're making your criteria, and every other branch would have a separate set of criteria. So the unfairness of that to the member is pretty big. I'd go with just send in the equivalency and get past it.
And,
I'll
and
check on that.
I'd like to interject here that
Yes, Donna.
came up since I've joined the state board and I talked to National about it. And that's exactly what they said, Sigrid. It made us sound more elitist to have two tiers.
Oh yeah, worse, right.
It made us look worse. So they said, please don't do it. Please just go for the equivalency. They're trying to make the equivalency easier.
Much easier.
You have to apply for the equivalency then.
You just fill in the form just like you're doing a new member. And
they've updated the
nobody's ever come back and said no.
Yeah, I would take a look at the new membership form on the website and you'll understand a little bit better.
Okay.
Yeah. And get away from, there's just so many pitfalls with two-tiered membership. We open ourselves up to all kinds of discrimination, to lawsuits, all kinds of crazy stuff that we want to avoid. So I know that lots of branches have done that in the past as a kind of a make do process, but we need to move on.
I know you had things you want to go on to, but I just want to sort of ditto what Sienna said a little earlier about getting people to step up. Our branch has, I think, about 150 members, but it's an aging group. And I'm president. I do not have a president-elect. And the membership of the nominating committee met the other day, and we are having trouble finding people to step up to positions. And for La Mesa El Cajon, this year, 2026 is our 75th year.
Oh, no.
And you got to know that in 75 years, there have certainly been ups and downs. And it's a very active branch. But I don't know what's going to happen because we have members of the board that are willing to return next year, but critical members that are not, specifically a webmaster. And so it's really a problem, really a problem.
I understand. We had a couple of suggestions for discussions about how to address this. So I'm going to share a screen again and bring up my, where'd it go? Here it is. There we go. And these are some of the things that we've talked about already tonight. Job sharing and job descriptions. Sometimes people don't understand what the job is and they feel intimidated. Maybe explaining to people what the limitations and boundaries are. And then staggering elections. I know in my branch, we just churn through people because we keep having these elections every single year and rotating these jobs. And you don't have any continuity, and you're constantly running a nominations committee. It's a year-round job at some point. So maybe looking at 2-year terms. Sharon's a big proponent of the alternative structures. There are only 3 jobs you need to have to maintain your association with AEW, and that's a president or a executive director, a treasurer, and a secretary.
And those jobs can, and Sigrid, those jobs can be shared. I mean, there's no reason why one person has to do everything. And some branches do things by committee, and they rotate within the committee the responsibilities. There's so much on our state website with regard to alternative structures.
And look at your branch bylaws and P&Ps, policies and procedures. Maybe you're hindering yourself by making things more complicated than they need to be. And you need to kind of tone it down and less description and more, inclusion. But I really like, Catherine's approach to everything, which is committee, 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 because then you don't feel like the Lone Ranger. Nobody wants to be the person who has to be in charge of creating 10 fabulous brand new programs for the next year. No wonder, nobody wants that job. The other thing is, go ahead.
This is Ginny. Our branch has shrunk over the decades. We're probably at about 40 now. Actively at a program meeting, we probably get maybe 15, 18 or so, which is almost half of our membership. We've been acting as a committee of the whole for about 10 years. So there are about 6 of us who are basically keeping us going. We all have assigned tasks, but that doesn't mean that's the only thing we do. When we meet for our board meetings, like we did earlier tonight, everybody talks about programming, what we'd like to see. We get their ideas. One person might be in charge of it for 1 month, somebody else for another, whoever is getting the speaker. You do the write-up. It's the way we've found to keep going. And I notice when we file our BOR reports that they've taken off now. It used to be president/administrative officer. They've taken off the admin officer, and it's just president now, or president-elect, I think, because I'd rather be called the administrator than the president. Okay. And I do the same work, but I think I'd rather have that title.
Yeah. Sometimes these square pegs and round holes aren't working for us.
And it doesn't, we have dedicated members, obviously, who are, ill health or not being able to drive anymore, or husbands who are disabled, for all different reasons, can't get around. Zoom has helped. I mean, we do hybrid meetings. So we have a member house who holds for anybody who wants to show up in person, can come there for lunch. We cater out. They tell her what they want from what restaurant, and we get it. And the others Zoom in. In fact, we're having a meeting on Saturday with the same thing. And we found that, our branch seems to appreciate that more. Just having the idea that you can come together and meet with somebody else helps, even if you can't do it, but it's there. Yeah.
Thank you. Sandra, you have your hand up.
Oh, yes. I'm the co-president of the branch in Santa Maria. I hear you guys are preaching to the choir because we have the same problem. We've got 57 members. We've got probably 10% or more living in assisted living. We joke we could open a branch in one of the local assisted living facilities because we've got about 8 people in that, just one alone. Yeah. And we're running into the exact same problems that I'm hearing the rest of you talk about at the aging branch, the reduction of members, and the burnout of people on the board. And there's some very valuable people that, bless their hearts, are absolutely getting off the board, and it's going to be quite a loss to us because of the knowledge they have, and there's nobody coming up to replace them. So I was really glad to first of all, misery loves company, but on the other hand, learning of some of the ideas that you have in Redlands, which perhaps we can institute on a much smaller scale, but at least start getting some of those ideas to turn people to being active. Honestly, I think most of our people want to do the social activities, book club, dine out, drama group, the fun stuff. And we don't have that many people willing to actually do the work. And at least I'm getting some ideas to take back to for our next board meeting. And I thank you all for that very much.
Sina, you have your hand up?
Yes, I'm also a member of an organization that actually doesn't collect dues. It's Red, Wine, and Blue. You may have heard of them. I live in Temecula, and it's the hotbed, this whole area, because of school boards. And I was on the school board in San Marcos for many years, but now I've been involved very much with the school boards and fighting the extreme right. But one of the things that I was wondering, there's a lot of energy because of 2026, the election on 2026. And a lot of us ladies, there are a lot who want to help, even if it's postcards, okay? Even if it's, they don't like the phoning too much, but let's say the postcards. And of course, going out there and holding up the sign. And I was wondering, and I know our policy is nonpartisan and we're very careful with that, okay? But at the same time, we are a political organization and our policies need to be defended, right? I mean, it's
yes.
Okay. So I'm wondering if it would be okay if and it could be with the school board since my area, Carlsbad inside Vista is not as, I moved away from the area, but they still won't let me go. So it's to use some issues. We've had discussions, we've had presentations. I myself have done the school board presentation from our own subcommittee. But other issues that are coming up, whether it be immigration, which of course is extremely hotbed right now, or other constitutional violations, if we can take advantage of a terrible situation in that people, I think, they just don't know how to or where to. If our organization can offer programs and a way of getting involved, whether it be, we were involved with the Prop 50, our national told us, right? So
yeah,
can we focus on ideas a little bit outside the box, where specific issues where we feel our organization is very sensitive, certainly women's right to choose and all of the other things. Education, like we're seeing from national, which I love. We're sending it to our two senators on our State Department of Education and what's going on there, this disappearance and all that. But is there a way that we can kind of assist branches so that they know how they can get involved without obviously and feel assured that it's fine with our organization? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then utilize this.
So
Becky, do you want to tell them about the Great American Write-In and how you got the public policy team to help write the postcards for us for that?
Sure. I actually have a draft that I was working on all day today. But the Great American Write-In is an event that's happened in Orange County for many, many years. I don't even know how many years. I'm going to guess like 20 plus. But it brings together several different nonprofits. So you have senior groups, you have Planned Parenthood, you have some child trafficking prevention organizations. And we got involved in this. I've been involved in it with other groups, but our IBC participated last year. And basically what it is we have pre-written postcards, pre-printed postcards that allow somebody to come to our table, learn about AAUW, and we've asked our state public policy to give us some language. And it's only like a sentence or two, because on a postcard, you don't have a whole lot of room, because you also want the writer to add a personal note and put down their name and address, and then send it to their legislator, because we want the legislator to know that this person is a constituent in their particular area, and that we as AAUW are advocating for a certain policy. But it's a great way to, number one, learn about other organizations, and secondly, to find other causes that you would support. And write postcards about that. So it's just a wonderful opportunity for you to write a lot of letters about a lot of different subjects in a very short amount of time. But that's what we'll be doing in March.
March, yeah.
Okay. And so there are a lot of, in other words, what about, I know that we did about National did support No King's Day, if I remember correctly.
Right.
And so getting the word out on specific policy issues, because that really sells it. In fact, I took I'm on the public policy, the general committee too, and I took the new public policy cards that we just finished
Right.
off.
Which you can get from them for free.
Yes, yeah, they were limited in numbers. I'm going to have to order more. Hopefully they have more. But when I hand them out before I talk about the issues, and I just point to a couple of things, and I, look at the card, and then I say, okay, look at what's happening now. And then, whatever the presentation is, in fact, because this worked real well with the school board project. But what I'm trying to say is I'm anxious to get myself, particularly within our organization, but I'm anxious to get, because of the importance of this year, obviously, and all of the policies that we have that are being totally, if not destroyed, just distorted, whatever. And I feel that we can assist organizations, because I know a lot of branches are kind of concerned about, well, this is partisan. I said, no, this is political. It's not partisan. Okay. Nobody's talking about what label you are. We're talking about the policy of immigration. We're talking about whatever. If we can sort of have a more organized, not just in the postcards, that I think is a wonderful idea, but as far as people who, let's say, who want to go to school boards and talk, we're doing that in our subcommittee at the end of this month, sending it out. But the word, it needs to get out more. Okay, that's probably what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Sina, Sigrid, can I jump in for a minute?
Sure.
One of the things that I think we're losing track of, and one of the things that Peggy's branch has done very well in Salem, Oregon, is reaching out to like-minded organizations. But you have to go, as we've been told, where they are. And I remember some people who joined my branch who nobody looked like them, let's put it that way. And they were very uncomfortable. But if you went to their meetings, you are very welcome. And so I think we're not collaborating, we're not partnering, we're not getting together with other organizations that then can spread the word. And I think Catherine's branch, the Redlands branch, is doing a wonderful job of being out in the community. I remember when our past president, Sandy Gabe, said she moved to Mariposa, and she went to every possible organization that had anything like ours, and therefore talked about AAUW. We're not doing that. We are the world's best kept secret, and it's sad.
I totally agree with that.
And so, Sina, you and I are both part of the public policy peer group at this point. And I'm seeing my branch does very well getting members and getting people to step up to leadership positions. But with the Volunteers First situation, you're asking people, why did they join AAUW? What do they want from it? As opposed to, we need a secretary, we need this, we need that. And that, getting people engaged. I know that getting people to interview for Tech Trekkers and getting people to interview for local scholarships, those are the ways that you touch people's hearts. And that really engenders them being engaged. But getting out to the various other organizations, I mean, I don't think my branch has ever gone to a Juneteenth celebration, for instance.
We have not.
And I think that's, we're missing the boat. We belong, and we're really thrilled with us, but we're not letting other people know why they should be thrilled with us too.
I totally agree.
And so those are all things that have come up many, many times with regard to membership and also leadership. Because if you get somebody that has loved being involved with interviewing tech trekkers, they might go onto the tech trek committee and then they might raise to be the tech trek coordinator. Those are, but it takes a ladder, a volunteer ladder.
It does.
Right.
And it takes time. It's not, it's not a one and done.
Yeah.
But think how many years you've been suffering without membership, without leadership. It's worth the investment. If it takes you 2 more years, at least you're making, moving the needle and you're making a difference and you're attracting younger people because we all know they want to do something.
And
They don't want
let
to
me
go
tell
to
you the
it
phrase that
hard.
got me to be involved in AAUW 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to help with?
Right.
And that doesn't sound as daunting as we need a secretary. We need somebody to step up and do that job, darn it.
Take all those notes. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or, be co-secretaries, be the secretary of the quarter,
or a meeting, rotate from meeting to meeting. We did that for a year and it was okay.
The other thing is we're not inviting all of our branch members to attend our board meetings. That
No,
is
we're not
a
either.
failure that we have.
Yeah.
And we're not doing it. And I said that at the board meeting from my branch last week. We need to make it obvious that they are welcome to come and see that we actually have fun, we laugh. And that's a way to get people to be willing to be part of that, getting them
Right.
engaged. So
Thanks,
that's my
Sharon.
bit.
Peggy, you got your hand up, and then Ginny.
Okay.
You're-
Sharon is the one who is really great at speaking to branches that are at risk. I would like to now speak about healthier branches in terms of succession planning. And I believe that succession planning, like buying a house and deciding what it is, how you're going to, what kind of a house are you going to buy? And you say, well, I'm gonna buy a house that I know I can sell. Okay, so you're planning for it while your branch is healthy, rather than scrambling around and trying to plan for succession when you've got burnout and just a few people to choose from. And some of the things that have worked in Oregon for a couple of branches, in fact, it's actually one branch that's done it twice with like a 10-year span in between. And they've gathered the whole branch together and ask that group as a whole group. We've been talking about bringing the whole group together, either in small circles or in one large circle, to describe how do you envision our branch in 5 years. And I'm looking at Redlands branch. I am hoping that your succession plan starts now and that you have the conversation now and you kind of get people primed up. So they're asking, and they did this once they did it in Eugene when they were desperate, and the other time they did it just because they thought it was a good idea to prevent that from happening. And they ask, how do we envision our branch in 5 years? Why is it important for us as members to sustain our branch? Why is it important for the community that we sustain our branch? And then what can we do to ensure our branch does have sustainability, so that you bring people together to talk about how we're going to do this and what each member is going to do to contribute to this. And sometimes I think it's maybe with sort of medium healthy branches that you could put people in different circles of engagement where the groups members who are interested in things like programs, things like communication, things like facilitation, which is, of course, like the general role of president, public policy, where they would get together in those kind of interest groups and start talking about how they can, programs that they can plan for those groups and how those leaderships can be developed and sustained. So getting the whole group involved in owning the sustainability of the branch, I think is pretty important. And maybe even during orientation, when you bring new members in, is that why not say, we have had our ups and downs, and we want our branch to be sustained. So we're asking everyone every year to think about branch sustainability, not just with dollars, but with how you contribute with your head and heart and hand. Those are just some of my suggestions that follow with Volunteers First.
Peggy is the author of Volunteers First. Most of you know.
Living and breathing it. I mean, everything is related to it.
Thanks.
So pardon me.
Okay. Ginny, you've got your hand up, and then we got to go to the last slide or everybody's going to go to sleep.
Okay, I'm sorry to keep talking, but just wanted to give everybody heads up on a great resource that's on the Public Policy State website. I happen to be a member of the Public Policy Committee, so I know it's there. And basically, it's to take action to fight the Project 2025. And it's a spreadsheet. It's great. And it has all the different areas that Project 2025, aimed at. And it basically lists under that all the organizations that are taking action to try to unresolve what they have done. And basically, it gives you the up-to-date status for the most part on, what's happening with this, if there's a lawsuit going, which most of them are, okay, where that lawsuit is, what's happening to it. So when you look at the organizations, it's a great option and a resource for the branches to use for programming and for also getting involved with networking, if we're talking about. Because one of the things that Sharon mentioned was visibility. That's basically has always been a problem with AAUW. We do such wonderful things, but most of the people don't know about us and what we do. And,
Right.
Getting involved with other groups, I think getting into the chamber was a great idea. There's things you do when you're a member of the chamber, but it also affords you a visibility, which is great and which what we need. Our Tech Trek program in particular, most people don't know about it. It's wonderful if they knew what we actually have been doing for 25 plus years. So, I mean, take a look at that spreadsheet. It's really great. And start using some of the organizations and stuff that are listed under each of the categories. So your branch adopts one, something that they're interested in, and then go from there with it.
And you'll also, that's a good idea for a program.
Yeah.
Something that you should put into the Bay Awards. It's a great idea for when you're filling out your annual survey for the 5-star awards. Keep all that in mind as you're choosing how to use your resources. Okay. Becky, we need to cover one last thing here. And I'm going to ask you to lead the conversation on the new President's Handbook. And this is something that Becky is leading to develop that we want to roll out in the spring, probably April or May, right after the election of new officers. So go ahead.
Excuse me, I'm fighting a little bit of a cold, so apologize for my voice here. We are working on, as Sigrid said, just sort of a, not really a handbook, but a sort of a resource. There is some other things on the AUW California website, but it's mostly about leadership. And this resource is intended to be more nuts and bolts, if you will, so that I've been working on too many things and trying to help too many things. So I've got, there's my slide. So what we're looking at is, if you're a president, it sounds like a lot of you were or are presidents. What would help you, or what would have helped you if you knew something right away instead of having to struggle with something or take 3 months to figure something out? So we've kind of set it up, so that we can talk a little bit about the nuts and bolts, leadership, governance, communications, what the president's responsibilities are, and then just really talk briefly about things like public policy, tech track. Outreach is a really good topic. Last year we had a whole peer group meeting on outreach that my branch has done. We tabled out a lot of things. So Redlands, I'm with you all the way. We've done a lot of things. Our city, we're in the middle of Orange County, literally the middle of Orange County. So we're not kind of as contained as Redlands is. It would be so nice if we were. But we've done a lot of activities. We partner with our community foundation for a pajama drive. We're doing an event with them called Sip and Stroll, which is a sort of a fun event where people can go to different areas in our Old Town shopping area for bites and drinks and shopping. We're doing a film festival with Chapman University, kind of the same thing that Redlands was doing. But those are the kinds of things that we're looking for. And we want your feedback as to what would have helped you. And you can put it in the chat. You can tell me. We're just kind of organizing it right now. I've got like 3 pages of notes, and those are all just bullet points. So we're trying to organize that information into something that would be useful. We'll put in links to the website and things like that. So if you need to know about, say, reimbursement or some of the deadlines or reporting that you have to do, those kinds of things. Talking a little bit about, we talked about some of that tonight with succession planning and having co-chairs and alternate structures, all those types of things. So really what we'd like to do, and I know we're like out of time right now, but if you could put in the chat, or you can always email me and just give us some ideas as to what you think would have helped you as a leader.
Yeah. Becky, put your email address in the chat so everybody knows how to get a hold of you.
I'm going to give you my personal email because it's just easier for me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is great. Thank you all for participating tonight. We really want input from all of you, and I know we haven't had an opportunity to hear from all of you, but it's important that we do. And remember, we're here to serve the branches. That's the only reason there is an AAUW California organization, is to support the branches in what you do. So anything that you can think of that you need help with, if you don't know anybody else to call, there's always the Ask Us First on the AUW California website. There's an icon, Ask Us First, and that goes to our office manager, Julika, and she'll direct it to the right person to get the answer to whatever question you have.
Sigrid, I would like to make one comment.
Sure.
Branches that commented tonight that they're having trouble, have you reached out to the branch support people on the state website? And, that's what we're here for. Don't just throw up your hands. Maybe in a personal conversation, you can hear something that will spark an idea. Please reach out to us. Donna Holmes and I have been working on this. I've been working on branch support for probably 12 years. So it's not like I've never heard it.
Sharon's in charge of the hospital. That's what I call it, her little intensive care unit for branches. And some of them make it out,
And we actually have had them resurrect.
She is the #1 head nurse.
She's the nurse practitioner.
No, yeah, she is a
Actually, the head of
nurse.
the ICU, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Head of the
Put everybody
ICU.
on life support.
Right,
Oh my
right.
gosh.
So
Oh dear.
be sure to join us next month in February. We're going to hear from Susan and Nick Whistle and Susan. Hopefully, we're going to have a speaker from NASPA or National that'll help us understand where we're going. Okay, and then we'll add some other topics into that. And if there's something you'd like to hear more about, send us a note and tell us what would be interesting for you to hear more about and helpful for you in running your branches.
And Tremaine will be sending out
Oh yes,
your
Tremaine and the,
progress
yes, the go
towards
ahead,
your
Donna.
advancement star that comes out at the end of this month. It only goes to the people in the hub marked as president or administrator. I did a little look today and discovered 3 branches don't have one that have officers listed. Now I have to look to see if we have branches that haven't done the hub. So it doesn't matter what you've got in the state BOR if you don't have it in the hub officer section. And the branches that don't have one at all are Auburn, Morro Bay, and Foothills of El Dorado County. So they have officers in there, but they don't have a president designated. So that means they'll never get an update. And then they'll say, why didn't I get counted for X? So it only goes to the president.
So be
And
sure you
so-
are correct in both the BOR and the hub.
And I recommend that branches that are having trouble and don't have a singular person listed as the president, put down 3 names. So somebody gets something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, a lot of branches have multiples. And if you need help doing it in the hub, I can do it. I have the capability to update every branch in the state.
Donna is the hub master.
Donna,
So-
put your email in the chat.
In the chat. Yeah,
Sure.
Donna is actually when you send something to ask us first, they ask her first.
Yeah, if Julica
If she
doesn't
can't answer
know,
it, then
it
it
goes
comes
to
to
me.
one of us. Yeah. So she's your go-to person for all bizarre questions. Okay, everybody.
There you
Thank you.
go. And there's my email.
Good. Donna, c4147@gmail.com. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you all for joining us tonight, and thank you for staying with us for an hour and a half. And we'll be back in February, and very happy to see all of you, and let us know if there's other things that you would like to hear more from AUW California. So good night, everyone. Thanks very much. And we're going to stop the recording.
Good night.
Forget to email me your suggestions, please.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
What happened here?
Do we need anything?